Teachers can differentiate what the child needs to know. Teachers can differentiate how the child learns. And teachers can differentiate how the child shows what the child has learned. Good differentiation takes into account how ready is the child for this. Not necessarily what's the child's ability, but what's the next level for that child. We're always thinking, what can the child do? What's the next stretch for that child? Takes into account interests. Sometimes kids are grouped by interests. All kids who are interested in sports will work on this corner of the room on this project. All kids interested in music will work in this corner of the room. All kids who are interested in pets will work on this corner of the room on this project. And then student learning styles or profiles. And there are lots of learning style profiles on the internet. You can simply Google learning styles, find some that are the age for your child, and find out about your child and or, I might add, yourself. Okay. We're going to talk about why differentiate. This is really important research. Dr. Sylvia Rim, who by the way is a Wisconsin native but has been on lots of big name TV shows, talking about children and underachievement, basically. She's speaking at the Ohio Gifted Conference this month as well. She said children grow in self-esteem when they achieve things that they thought were beyond their reach. Vygotsky, a child psychologist, said that all kids should have to get past their zone of proximal development. So they need to be stretching just a little bit beyond their zone. And you all know in your lives, when you stretch beyond your zone, just a little bit, it's a good feeling when you do something that's hard for you and you're able to do it. That's where the joy is, you know, doing something easy, piece of cake. Doing something hard and like surprising yourself, that's a great feeling. And you're all smiling, so I know you know what I'm talking about. This has been on my door in my office for a long time. If you do not make mistakes while learning, the challenge is not great enough, and that is a mistake. We'll talk more about the most current research on mistake making. But you didn't think you'd learn about that tonight. Okay. Learning has to require three things of every learner, else you're not learning. You have to exert some effort. Okay, when I'm skiing, and I'm a terrible skier, I have to exert some effort. I have to practice new skill sets, and then I have to persevere, even when it's hard. Now, for all kids, working hard should look like this, except sometimes gifted kids don't get to do this. All right, try and don't get it. Try again. Put it away for a brief period of time. Try it and still don't get it. Work harder. All right? Perfect example. I selectively frustrate children. Okay? Bless me, I've sinned. Okay? I selectively frustrate gifted kids. I teach them how to do logic puzzles that I know are quite difficult. Give them the tools. But what I want them to do is to meet frustration when they're little squirts. Because we don't want kids to meet their first frustration when they're away at college without us around to pick up the pieces. So what do kids do when they meet frustration for the first time? Help me out. What do some kids do when they meet frustration for the first time? Cry. What else? Give up. What else? Throw pencils, break pencils, throw boots, right? Okay? They say things like, this is stupid. They say things like, I'm bored, which sometimes means I'm frustrated and I don't know what to do. But bored, you know, that's like mom's push button. Say bored, and mom goes, oh, he's bored. Or when kids get older, they use terms that I will not repeat here because we have children. But I think you know what I'm talking about, right? At the high school, I hear some colorful language. Let's just put it that way. Okay. If we deprive kids of struggle, this is for anyone who's tempted to be a helicopter parent, you know, kind of hovering around your child. If you deprive them of the struggle, you're also depriving them of the exhilaration that comes from doing something hard well. So my advice is, struggle is good. Say that with me. Struggle is good. Okay? Use that phrase at your house. I use it with kids all the time. All I have to say is struggle, and the kids I work with say is good. Call and response. Very simple. Okay. What I'd like to talk about is some of the most new research on thinking and learning. Do any of you know this book, Mindset, by Carol Dweck? Okay, highly recommend it. I'll leave it up here so you can get the ISBN off the back if you want. She's a Stanford University psychologist. Her work came across my desk about 7 or 8 years ago when it was in its infancy. She's a hot ticket right now, okay? She really is on the forefront of learning, teaching and learning right now. In her book, the subset of her book is The New Psychology of Success, How We Can Learn to Fulfill Our Potential. She asserts that some of us have a fixed mindset. This is how I was born. This is the way I'm always going to be. You're not going to change it. You know, I'm not very coordinated. I almost brought my favorite sweatshirt along. It says, unathletic department, double extra large. Okay, I call that my fixed mindset sweatshirt. Okay? She says that some of us really believe that, you know, what you're given is what you're given. Okay, that's it. You know, you were dealt this deck of cards. There's no changing it. Growth mindset, on the other hand, says, you know, okay, here's where I'm at now. But with hard work, persistence, grit, I can move along the continuum. So an example on top of a fixed mindset is you can't change your intelligence very much. Okay, I'm 132. You know, I'm never going to be a genius. I'm never going to be severely gifted. All right? Or, this is a little more moderated position. You can learn some things, but you can never really change how intelligent you are. You know, I'm just like my grandma. I'm never going to be coordinated. All right? On the other hand, examples of a growth mindset. No matter how intelligent you are, you can change quite a bit. That is in your power if you want to work for it. You can always substantially change how intelligent you are. Now think about your kids. How many of you suspect, you have to raise your hands, do this in your head. How many of you suspect that your kids might have one of these mindsets, fixed or growth? May I offer that a lot of gifted kids have fixed mindsets? And here's the reason. Since they were this big, we've been saying, you are so smart. Okay? So they kind of think we love them for being smart, not for who they are. Okay? Think about it for a second. Here's another fixed mindset. You're a certain kind of person. Oh, you're grouchy just like your Uncle Harry. Okay? And there isn't much that you can do to change that. But you can do some things differently, but the important part, the essence of you cannot be changed. How very Zen-like is it, right? Okay? Example of growth mindset. No matter what kind of person you are, you can change substantially. If you're willing to work at it, if it's important to you, and you can always change basic things about you and of the way you are. Here's a few important findings about mindset, and I have a couple others I'm going to share because I just read an article this morning. So I want to give you the latest research. Success comes from giving your best effort, focusing on the learning and the improving, not the final product, but the journey, the process. Mistakes help us learn. Mistakes are absolutely important in our journey towards becoming. And we as parents have to, and teachers have to model mistake making. I call that modeling imperfection. And it's really important the kids see, because we look like we know what we're doing most of the time, even when we know we don't know what we're doing. But to our kids, you know, they look up at us and we look perfect. So drawing attention to our imperfections is really good for kids. I love the second part of number 2. Mistakes are informative wake-up calls and are not to be avoided. Right? They're telling us something about what we could change if we want to. People with a growth mindset take charge of the process and they maintain it. And you can cultivate a growth mindset. There are a couple things that can be done at home and school. Teachers, parents, establish high but not rigid expectations for your child. Label for your child when you're asking them to stretch. So let's say that you're working with your child on the amount of time that they will spend doing homework without being distracted. Label it a stretch. Say, I know this is a stretch for you, but I think you can do it.